be angry, but they're actually not just not helping, they're getting involved with kicking us in the face while we're going through maybe the worst kind of torture that's ever been invented, especially directing it, pinpointing areas of the brain with remote neural manipulation, injecting, and the V2K is like going right now as I'm making this video. The woman's voice just said, "This is sick." I kind of want to do a video where I just sit there. It's kind of hard to hear. I can hear the V2K voices, but I can't always tell exactly what they're saying, which is a blessing. The guy just said something like, "We've got to do this," or, screw this guy, or something like that. And then the woman's voice just said, "Turn it off." I think that's Chatterbox. It's Chatterbox, but they will manually inject things. But it's a scary feeling, when I try not to act. I actually put off going to sleep because that's when they mess with my brain the most. And then in that theta state, it will be like I won't be thinking my own thoughts. There will just be word salad, inner voice thoughts. And then it's like almost like when I'm thinking and visualizing something, it's very unclear to me, but they're getting a strong signal of it, like they're stealing that signal, and so they get a clear image of what I'm trying to think, but it's buffered down for me, so that I get a dim image of what my own thoughts. So they're like not stealing my thoughts, but it's like they're getting a clear image of what I'm trying to think. And then for me, it's not showing up in my brain right. I mean, this is serious, non-TIs, and TIs may know what I'm talking about, but they've been sitting there, these hive mind team members, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, shift workers, working with this automated software so long, years and years and years on shifts and automating stuff, that they've gotten really, really cruel, and it goes on so long that you kind of lose track. You're like, okay, they're doing that to me, but then you have to go on with your life while they're just doing it to you 24 hours a day, like buffering down a certain region of your brain, like interfering with it, but then they're getting a clear signal from that region of the brain and commenting on that thought when it shows up dimly in your visual space. It's so crazy. This is so crazy. This is just, it's fucked up and crazy, and what did the woman just say? The woman just said, we don't have to do this. She said, you're not going to get him out of here. I can't, it's easier to hear the woman's voice because it's a higher frequency or a higher tone. So I can make out what she's saying, but then the guy said something, he's like, I can't tell what he's saying because it's very low. It's more bass to it. I'm just comment on it. As it goes on 24 fucking hours a day. TIs without V2K, please just get on your knees tonight and thank God. That sometimes drives me crazier than the actual, pain to my nervous system or things that they're raping into my brain. But I just want to say it again, I guess. And there's been a lot of, I've been kind of losing my cool on a lot of calls because I'm, I don't know. Well, I don't want to go into it, but I like pushing information out, and I kind of moderate calls because somebody's got to do it, and somebody's got to help Ella out, and somebody's got to help other moderators out, and we've got to have calls because people have to, we have to be able to cope and pass along information about defenses and things like that. And I feel like I'm okay at it, I'm good at it, but I feel like that's not my thing. I really should be pushing out information to the public, but I'm going to keep doing it for a while and see how that goes. But I've been really losing my cool, because people will needle me and stuff like that, and maybe they're regular TIs that think that, disagree with me or something like that, or maybe some of them are paid, agents who needle on purpose, and I've been good at that, about staying diplomatic and kind of brushing stuff off. But then I have, the remote neural manipulation at certain times where it's just like I get impulsive and I react impulsively. Um, I just kind of wanted to talk about some of this, guys. Kind of just get it out of me. Um, can't really think where I was going with any of this. This is kind of just an update video, kind of documenting what's going on with me. But I do want to just, that brain science from bench to battlefield, the realities and risks of neuroweapons. That guy is, he works also with the Pentagon, with neuroweapons and the science of it too. So if you watch it, you get all of his credentials and things like that. Um, so these people know. They know that there's human experimentation going on. He says the cat's out of the bag, and well, we need to have ethics on who we use this on and when, but really it's too late for that. You'll just hear him say all these phrases that you're just like, if you're being targeted, like he's sitting there comfortable in an air-conditioned room thinking of all this is great, and it's so many advancements, and we can protect our country. My nervous system and brain have been mutilated and raped for like a decade or more, and I know a lot of you, it's some people have been going through this for like 30 years in unbelievable spans of time. And it's insane to watch somebody comfortably speak about it without much empathy, and it's ruined my family and my life. I intend to get a lot of it back, or move on. Move on with this happening. I intend to survive, and I intend to help a lot of you guys survive as best I can. With nervous system and brain being messed up, and I know a lot of other target individuals, survivors of this, making videos, they believe the same thing. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to just make a video, and I go back, I watch some of the videos that I made at the beginning, and I'm like, man, this has affected my brain so much, my communication. They've mutilated this side of the jaw so bad that it's affected my communication, but also just the regions of my brain used to communicate and keep things rolling into my mind, what I'm going to say next, keep things. And so, yeah, me and somebody on the call the other night were talking about how I really need to write stuff down. But then I've also got this feeling, I'm sorry to bitch and complain, guys. This is kind of just a getting things out. So I'm not trying to bitch and complain a lot, but I'm just saying, we've talked about all this stuff. It's like out there, the information's out there, and now we've just got to push forward and push it out to the public. And so sometimes I'm like, what more is there to say? This is happening. Human beings are being experimented on. Then it's running parallel, to gang stalking or patrolling or whatever these freaks who think that they're saving their country and their world by murdering a bunch of people and then spitting and kicking them in the face. Whatever they call it, this is running alongside of it, so that when we talk about the gang stalking and the harassment, it discredits us about the directed energy weapon systems experimentations, the toxins, neurotoxins and poisons being put in people's environments to also affect them neurally. And James Giordano talks about that too. I hope you guys are doing well. I guess what we got to say, or I got to say, I'm doing relatively well compared to some people out there, but that's a scarier concept to me, that people could be doing worse than me with this, like feeling worse and having more pain during the day. But I've got to be thankful for relatively being able to survive during the day. This isn't justice. This isn't right. But it is what it is. It's happening. So we've got to deal with it with the tools that we have. We have the moral high ground here. We are on the right side of history. No matter what these evil people are justifying, their cult-like stance on sacrificing me and my family, sacrificing you survivors out there for this neuroweapons technology, and advancing the weapons, making consumer products, the medical industry, and pumping up the surveillance state and all that. Whatever kind of trash that is, all this can be done without non-consensually murdering people. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. And it's interesting what this guy says about. He compares this to like a race on a racetrack where yeah, you can do the wrong thing and you get ahead of the pack, but it's unethical. And I mean, it seems like he says that statement knowing that all these military-industrial complexes are doing the wrong thing to try and get ahead of the pack. The United States of America, the Pentagon, DARPA, down to the CIA, the DIA, the DoD, then the subcontractors, subcontractors, and subcontractors, and subcontractors. They are doing the wrong thing, murdering people secretly, justifying it by some kind of, the Freedom Act or Patriot Act, and we're at a time of war, so we have to do these things to fight terrorism and to protect national security. So let's go ahead and murder all these innocent people. Let's fuck up these innocent people. Let's false flag them. Let's say they're doing this and that. And I just sometimes I don't know what reality I'm living in. Apparently, I'm living in a different reality than a lot of people. I see them comfortable. They're walking around. They don't have to deal with this or think about this, and they're fine. They're not knowing that it's existing. And I just want to shake them and say, this is coming to you. Like, if you think you're just going to slide by, I mean, even my attackers, I was thinking, because they can read the inner voice, and I think a few different ways. But I was like, if y'all think y'all are just going to fly through this, like you're going to attack me and murder my family and destroy us and a bunch of other target individuals, and you think you're just going to fly by and it's just going to be a peaceful utopia and these people who were sacrificed will just go away and stuff like that, you've got another thing coming. I mean, this will be used on it's probably being used on them right now. They're probably monitoring the monitors and all the way up, to see how far people will go. It's just an experiment on top of an experiment on top of an experiment on top of experiment, and advancing these things all the way up the pyramid. But all right, guys, I had to kind of get it out. This is a complaining rant, but I'm going to keep going, and I know you guys will too. Let's just stay strong. I guess I need to make a defense video again, because a lot of people on the calls are just like, I don't know what to do, and they don't know how to defend, and some of the things I'm using really do work, but it's still, I mean, it's almost like when I had Crohn's disease, I'm in remission now, but right when it started, when I was like 10 years old, it was so much pain, and it was horrifying, and it was at the beginning. And then, things got better. I took medication. I went on a feeding tube and stuff like that. And so many years later, what I would say was, I'm hurting because my body's so worn out. But if I was feeling this kind of pain at the beginning, it would have been a cakewalk. So that's kind of the place that I'm at. Not if you take out the remote neural manipulation that is strictly like strictly injecting a visual or inner voice thing or something like that, and you just go to the pain levels, because my body is so tired, what I would say is, if this was at the beginning, it would have been a cakewalk. When I had full strength, full adrenaline, my body was healthier. The kind of pain that I'm feeling right now, it would not a cakewalk. It wouldn't have been a cakewalk, but it would have been a lot easier. But because my body has been just raped mercilessly for years and years, it's like I lay down and they're hitting me, and I don't get up anymore, to put more defenses on or figure something out or move around or anything like that. It's just my body's so tired, like a lump of flesh, and then they're just raping it. And they're just raping my mind and my nervous system while I'm laying there. The woman on the V2K said, I can't take this anymore. So she just said that. And then the guy said, What'd the guy say?